Hey, so it is Tuesday today, and I was not online yesterday for the crowdfunding chat because I wanted to be to remain, the consistency for the Monday, but I couldn't because this past weekend my thermostat broke, and it is getting really cold here in Washington. And with the thermostat broken, we can't get heat. And I have my parents-in-law with me right now, and without heat, and they're a little older, so without heat, we would probably be coughing and getting sick and just be completely miserable. Although they're from Alaska, so that's kind of an interesting thing. They're from the northernmost point of Alaska, so they should be not too cold in this weather, but it's actually been pretty cold, especially in the house. The house just kind of like traps cold air or something like that. I can't figure it out. But it's a lot colder than outside. And so the thermostat broke, and we had to just kind of take the day to work with the handyman to get a new thermostat. And just to figure that out, I managed to get a new smart thermostat. The old Honeywell that we had that came with the house was completely broken. We put in new batteries, but it always just said like battery low, low, battery low. And so we got like three sets of batteries from all different brands to try it just to see if it works or not, but still didn't work. And so we got a new smart thermostat from the store and put that in, and that turned out pretty well. It was super easy to install, very simple to just put together, like take out a box, and the instruction manual was online, and we drilled a hole and two holes into the wall and put it in, and it looks beautiful and flush with the wall. And there's an app that goes with it, and it's learning our habits and preferences. And yeah, I'm excited so far. But anyways, that's what happened yesterday. And we're trying to also redo our stuff in our garage, and the light stuff in there is really messed up. And so we were just working with the handyman for a long time. But anyways, that was why I wasn't here yesterday, because I was literally running around to Lowe's and to um, get stuff for a handyman so that he could work on our house. So today's Tuesday, though, which is an exciting day in the realm of all things crowdfunding because it's launch day. It's Kickstarter Tuesday. It's crowdfunding Tuesday. It's launch Tuesday, whatever you want to call it. It's today, right? And so let's talk about launch. Let's talk about like why you pick Tuesdays to launch, when you should launch on Tuesdays, and also kind of what happens during launch time. The other day we talked about not like kind of which periods in the year you should or should not launch, right? We talked about how launching in November or December is probably kind of your worst bet, just not what you should want to do at all. And launching in any other time of year is great because people are actually trying to spend money on crowdfunding stuff. So now let's talk about like Tuesdays. Like, why do people want to launch on Tuesday? Why do you see all these crowdfunding campaigns going live on Tuesday? Right? Why is it? Well, the main reason really has to do with people's habits of kind of opening emails online. So as we've been talking about already, emails are just that main factor that drives people's online purchases, right? It drives the fact that people get something online. It's not social media. It's not like likes on Instagram. It's not follows on Twitter, or it's not any of that. It's how many emails you have of qualified buyers, warm leads that are interested in buying actually getting your product when it goes live. So the best day to launch is the day that people are actually most likely to open their emails and most likely to see your product in their email inbox. And turns out it's Tuesday. Tuesday is that big day that people are much more likely just to see things in their inbox, and they have time to do it for several reasons. on the weekend, everyone's kind of off doing their own thing, right? Everyone's off, hanging out with their family, chilling with their kids, like doing their own hobby stuff, right? Doing whatever they're doing just to stay away from technology, stay away from work, stay away from their computer, and so they don't really look at their inbox typically. On Monday, work starts again, everyone gets slammed. There's just like all these work emails piling up from Friday, or people working late, or people working on the weekends, or like something, right? Their inbox is slammed, and all they want to do is either catch up from the week before or get ahead this week. And so their inbox is just slammed with things, slammed with uh, reports, slammed with catch ups, slammed with memos, whatever it is. And Tuesday comes along, and they've already cleared up everything they had to do for Monday, and Tuesday's kind of this like lull day, right, where things just kind of slow down a bit before the midweek hump, and before it's pretty much the end of the week again. And so Tuesdays is that one day where people's inboxes are a little emptier than other days. And so that's why a lot of Kickstarters and then Indiegogos and crowdfunding campaigns just launch on Tuesday, because it's kind of the best day to get seen and get noticed by people in their inbox, which is, again, emails are just the most emails, and people behind those emails are the most important thing for getting your project launched. So people might ask, like, okay, so why not Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday? Why not those days? Wednesday is like, if you really had to do it, Wednesday is really the second best day for it. Wednesday is not as bad as other days, and people are still kind of in that like lull. They're not in the end of week phase yet. And another thing is that Wednesday, you're still able to do the first kind of 3 days of your campaign during the weekday. And that's really important, because the first 3 days of your campaign is like incredibly important for the trajectory. Launch day is the most important, but if you're able to kind of still get fully funded the first 3 days, that's still very, very promising for kind of the more positive, strong trajectory for the rest of your campaign, and getting to trending, and getting like Project Week Love status, and getting all these different promotions. It's really, really important to kind of get that funding on the first few days. When it comes to Thursday and Friday, it's really not recommended, because one, people start to check out, right? People start to check out from their inbox. People start to check out from the computers, and they're just kind of on social. They're just kind of seeing what's going on. They're not really trying to check their inbox and really go deep in there. But the more important thing too is that if you launch on Thursday or Friday, the first 3 days of your campaign overlaps with a weekend. And on the weekend, people typically decrease their, pledges actually decrease on the crowdfunding platforms. A lot of people, again, like we were saying at the beginning here, people just like go do their own thing. They're not really coming to crowdfunding backing campaigns and putting their money behind things. So they're just out doing other things, hobbies, real life. And so Thursday and Friday launches aren't the best, just because it just overlaps with the weekend, where you can't get the full effect of people being online, being in front of their computers, being in front of your project all day, every day, right? So that's kind of why Tuesday is the big day for crowdfunding. Everybody everywhere wants to launch on Tuesday. Even like agents, like crowdfunding agencies, like PR agencies that do work with crowdfunding, like all these people who are in the crowdfunding space, any book you read about crowdfunding that you pick up, they're going to tell you Tuesday. Kickstarter Tuesday, Indiegogo Tuesday, crowdfunding Tuesday. They're all going to talk about it. And what this is also kind of creating, this effect that is creating, is that once people do come to crowdfunding on Tuesday and start backing projects, and there's a lot of these projects popping up at the same time, the cool thing that's happening here is that you're getting these organic views from other people, from other campaigns that are launching too. So if you've backed campaign A, after you've backed a campaign A, on the thank you page of the confirmation page of your pledge, it's going to say, oh, there's these other campaigns you might like too. or at the bottom of your page, or like everywhere else on the platforms itself, they're going to start recommending similar campaigns, or like campaigns that you might also like according to what you've backed in the past, or just exactly what you've just backed right now. With that said, the more people come on Tuesday and launch on Tuesday, the more campaigns, the more of like kind of an echo chamber effect they're going to be in, right? This echo chamber effect is going to be really strong because everyone's going to be here. Everyone's going to be backing crowdfunding campaigns. Everyone is going to want a crowdfunding campaign. Everyone's going to be looking for new exciting projects. And if these recommendation engines, if these recommendation engines are able to really learn exactly what you like and recommend the right things to you, that's a really, really strong indicator of this Kickstarter or Indiegogo or crowdfunding algorithm in effect, right? Because you're seeing something, you're backing it, you're seeing something else that's really similar and you really want it to, and you're backing it, and you're just kind of going down this rabbit hole of things you really like. That's exactly what Amazon does with their own recommendation engines too. What they do is they have huge kind of they have these huge machine learning scripts of how people shop, what people like, all these like really personalized and custom profile for each person who is a member of their giant e-commerce store. And whatever you buy, they're just gonna figure out what you potentially would like, what you potentially would need, what you potentially would want in the future too, and recommend the right things for you. And that's why people who shop on Amazon tend to just have really high like order values and have like really high like repeat order rates because of that smart machine learning that they're just taking all this aggregate data and just putting it all together. So Kickstarter and Indiegogo, if they're doing this right, they can actually really, really put these recommendation engines, this kind of echo chamber effect, into really great use on Tuesday because it's been kind of common knowledge now that Tuesdays are the day to launch. And so everyone is here and everyone knows that Tuesday is the day. With that said, it's also easy to kind of be drowned out. It's also really easy to be drowned out on Tuesday just because there's so many campaigns out there. And some campaigns, if they think that they'll really kind of leverage the crowdfunding algorithm, really leverage the Kickstarter algorithm, the Indiegogo algorithm, just to leverage that, just to get organic backers on that first day, it's starting to get harder. It's starting to get harder and harder and harder just because there's so many projects launching, vying for that same attention and vying for that same kind of algorithmic effect and echo chamber effect on Tuesday. So what can you do to really, really crush it on Tuesday? What can you do to make sure that your campaign actually launches and gets funded and actually gets that backing that you need to bring your project to life on this Tuesday? Well, the one thing really is to get the one thing really okay, it's kind of silly, but the one thing is to get your audience, right? Like we keep talking about this, we keep coming back to the idea of an audience. We've talked about this other days too in this kind of live video series or live series. And it's really important to get people who really like your product and really have been pre-qualified and have that buying intent for your product ready and eager to buy, and have them know when it is, because that's honestly the only way you're going to stand out from the crowd. That's the only way you're going to be a campaign that sticks out, right? That sticks out and actually makes it. Because if you're just relying on other people's audiences, if you're just relying on other people's kind of ability to bring their own audience to a campaign and hoping that this trickle effect of other people's audience comes to your project, that's not a winning strategy. That's not a strategy that will actually get you funded and get you really to where you want to go. The only way to really succeed, like for crowdfunding, for anything beyond crowdfunding, for e-commerce, for retail, for anything else outside, if you have a product, if you have an idea, is to really hone in on your audience and deliver what they want. Hone in on your audience and know exactly who they are. Capture them, talk to them, relate with them, get them to know you, and then push them to the campaign, right? Because if you're relying on other people's audiences, you don't know how they're going to react. You machines can think that they know how they can react, right? There's a lot of or habits that can be kind of categorizable, can be machine learned, can be all that. But at the end of the day, your audience is your audience, and your audience will be the one that can get you funded. So to be completely sure that you're going to get fully funded, that you're going to be okay and ready for launch, you need to really focus on building up your audience and building up a size of audience that is adequate to get you funded without other people. And that's the truth. That's the hard truth for crowdfunding nowadays. It used to be that you can totally rely on other people, you can totally rely on other campaigns, you can totally rely on the crowdfunding algorithms. And yeah, sure, they do kind of bump up campaigns 20 to 30%, if they're enacting all these kind of things correct for their launches. If they're able to meet the 30% rule, if they're able to kind of get fully funded, they're still pushing traffic and people and backers to your campaign. Sure, that's still happening. But to be completely certain, to be completely sure that you're going to be fully funded, I always recommend people to get their own audience intact, get their own audience ready. Things like their friends and family, acquaintances, different tiered followers or acquaintances or relationships, get their strangers intact, start DMing all these people, start making conversations with all these people so that you know exactly what to do moving forward. And yeah, so that's really important, right? You don't want to get drowned out. And the way you're not going to get drowned out is if you have your own audience. You have your own audience who is super duper duper tied to what you're doing and cannot wait for your project to go live so that they can back you immediately. If you have enough of those people to get you funded on the first day, you don't have to rely on anything else. You don't have to rely on hope. You don't have to rely on luck. You don't have to rely on an algorithm to push people your way. You don't have to rely on the effectiveness of an algorithm to push the right people your way. And it all comes down to your audience. So yeah, we talked about launch day, why it's Kickstarter Tuesday, why it's Indiegogo Tuesday, why people launch on crowdfunding. So let's talk about what happens on launch day itself. The thing that happens on launch day, people kind of like don't know how to press launch and things like that. So like once you're ready to launch, right? If your bank accounts all verified, your identity is all verified, everything on your page is already there. Like Indiegogo, you need like to make sure you have an FAQ. On Kickstarter, you need to make sure that all the rewards, all the little green circles on their dashboard is rounded and things like that. So once you're ready to launch, just press live, and then there's going to be another screen that pops up that says like, "Are you sure? Are you ready?" And you press confirm, and then you just launch it. The campaign launches. The thing I like to do right after a launch is to test the checkout. You'd be surprised how many times the checkout of a crowdfunding campaign just fails for no good reason. It just doesn't work, which sucks if you have all these people eager to back your campaign and you tell them, oh, the checkout's ready, the campaign's live. And then you send all these people to your project, and then hundreds or thousands of people aren't able to check out, and then they get frustrated and they get angry, and then they don't come back. It happens. It happens. So the first absolute thing that you do when you launch your project is to test the checkout. Just test the checkout. Make sure that it works. Use a credit card. Use like a dummy account. You could even use your own account to test checkout. You can have your significant other. You can have your friend. You have your family. Whoever you want who is awake at the time that you're launching to test the checkout for you or for yourself, right? That's really important because you don't want to send people to your page if your checkout doesn't work and if your campaign actually isn't taking money. That's the first thing to do. Once that's done, make sure that you know who your super duper 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 fans are and get them to come to your page first, right? In the pre-launch strategy session, we talk about how you want to give your super fans or people on your email list or like these super early adopters a way to really, really engage with your campaign in a way that feels special to them and also rewards them for being a super fan. This can mean having an early bird, for example, or this can mean having decreased shipping, or this can mean, oh, you get something extra if you're on my email list and you back on the first day. This can mean so many different things, and it doesn't always have to be price. Okay. It doesn't always have to be price, and it's very dependent on category, what you do to just reward your early fans. I recommend you to do that market research and go look at the different projects out there and seeing what they're doing within your same category. So for those early fans, like make sure firstly that the checkout works and then send them there, because those early fans are already bought into what you want to do. They're already bought into your idea. They know what they want. They know they want it. They know they want to give you the funds to make it. And so send them to your page and they're going to convert into backers. Your little funding, counter, your funding counter will start going up, and the backer counter is going to start going up, and all this is going to add social proof to your campaign. It's going to add social proof to your project itself, which means that when you start sending people who are kind of on the fence, who are wishy-washy, who aren't sure, which is kind of people on social media or people on through Facebook ads or like all these other channels. And when you start sending those people, your super fans have already backed. You've already gotten a lot of funding and a lot of backer counts. So that's a ton of social proof for these wishy-washy people who have been following you, kind of keeping an eye on you, but they're not sure yet. It's great social proof to get them to actually back and convert into a backer, because they're seeing so much action and they're seeing so much activity on the page. They're probably there on your page thinking, wow, this campaign is amazing. A lot of people really want it. Think about like a restaurant. If you see two restaurants side by side and one has a ton of people and there's like an hour wait and the other one literally has crickets and no one is there at all, you're probably going to think, okay, the restaurant without anyone probably is a little sketch and I shouldn't go there. I should just wait that hour to go to that restaurant with a lot of people lining up, because there's probably something I don't know, and there's probably something good about that. Same with the crowdfunding campaign. If people see that a lot of people are backing and the funding counter is going up and backers are going up, people are leaving comments, and there's a lot of activity on the crowdfunding campaign itself, all this warm traffic who's just wishy-washy and they're not sure, once you send them to your campaign, you're going to get a lot of people converting because of that social proof. And so so the things you're doing, you're pressing the launch button, you're testing your checkout, you're sending your super, super, super hot traffic, your super fans, your A team pretty much to back your campaign first. And then you're sending all this warm traffic. And from now, it's just getting the word out. Your first day is about getting the word out, because the more people see your project, the more people see your campaign, the more people come to your project, the more people come to your campaign, the more likely you're going to have people to convert, especially if you've done the previous steps correctly. If you've done all other things correctly and you're getting good traffic and you're getting traffic of people who are potentially going to be interested in your project or kind of heard about it or know about it, getting them to your page just to see all this activity, all this buzz, all this hype is going to get you really ready to just get more backers to convert pretty much. So that's my little talk about Kickstarter Tuesday and Crowdfunding Tuesday and Launch Tuesday, Crowdfunding Tuesday. And, I hope that you enjoy your launch when you do come to launch. And, it's going to be great. It's a thrill. It's adrenaline rush. You kind of don't even sleep the night before because you're so excited about pressing the launch button. You're so excited about all these people coming your way. And at the end of the day, you get actually really grateful too. Grateful for all the people who have been following you for so long, and grateful for all the people who have decided to contribute to your project on launch day and contribute to your idea to get it come to life. So you actually feel all these emotions all at once, and it's an amazing feeling, and I can't wait for that for you. if you like what you're listening to here, be sure to subscribe to this channel and also subscribe to my newsletter because I send things every Tuesday that I don't talk about out here. It's actually at crushcrowdfunding.com/subscribe, and you get a fun little gift inside too if you subscribe today. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye.